In today's tutorial, we are going to be learning how to make a basic skirt block. The measurements we'll be using for this tutorial is our waist measurement, which is 28 inches, the hip measurement, which is 38, knee length 20 inches, waist to hip 8 inches, and our bust span, which is 6 inches. So to start with, we are going to mark at the top edge of our pattern paper. We are going to mark 1 inch down. Then connect the lines, the dots together. And label it the waistline. Now, at the left side of our pattern paper, we are also going to measure 1 inch at the edge. And also we'll be marking at different points. Then we also connect the dots. And label it our center back. Now, after doing this, the next thing we want to get is to determine the width of our block. And in the width of our block, we are going to be having our half of our front pattern and half of our back pattern. Now, to do this, we are going to consider the largest area of our body, and on this measurement we have the largest area is the hip measurement, which we have 38. So we will divide our hip measurement by 2, which is going to give us 38 divided by 2 is going to give us 19 inches. So from our center back, we would mark our 19 inches from our center back line. And then we would mark at different points. Then we connect and label this new line our center front, which is CF. Now, the next thing to do after getting the width of our block is to get our hip to our waist to hip, our hip line, which is our waist to hip. So our waist to hip is 8 inches from the measurements we have. We are going to be marking that from the waistline. And we are also going to be marking it on our center front in order to get a straight line. And then we connect together. Then we label this hip line. Now the next thing is to mark our knee length. Our knee length from the measurement is 20 inches. So we are also going to be marking that from our waistline downward. From the waistline, we measure 20 inches. And we also repeat the same on our center front as well in order to get a straight line. Then you connect that together as well. Now the next thing to do is to measure our waist and our hip and get our front pattern and back pattern. Now we'll be starting from the front. For the front, we are going to be dividing our waist by 4 and add 1 inch to make the data allowance. Now our waist is 28 inches. If we divide it by 4, we are going to get 7 inches plus 1, which is the data allowance, is going to make it 8 inches. So on our waistline, we are going to be marking 8 inches from our center front. Now the next thing, we will divide the hip by 4. Our hip is 38, divided by 4 is 9.5. So we are going to be marking our 9.5 hip measurement on our hip line. Also, on the knee length, we are also going to be dividing our hip measurements by 4. So we are repeating the same thing we are doing on the hip measurements. We are repeating it on the knee measurements. We are going to be dividing our hip measurement by 4, and then we mark it on the knee length from the center front. We have 9.5 there as well. So now the next thing to do is to connect the waist to the hip and to the knee. Now we are going to be using our curve ruler to connect. Please, while connecting, ensure that you are getting a slant line and not a curve like this. So you are going to be using this part of your curve ruler to connect. Then from your hip line, you're going to be connecting to your knee line, to your knee length with a ruler. And then we are going to be labeling this new line our side front. Now we want to work on the back. First thing to do, if you look at the human body, you would notice that our back is not straight. There is a slant on her back. If you check the mirror, you can check it on the mirror to see that. Now the first thing to do is to go in on your center back at the waistline by 0.5 inch, so that your skirt is going to be sitting properly on your waist when you wear it. Now after doing this, you are going to connect from this 0.5 inch to your hip line.
Sorry, because you need to. Go on.
Okay. So now the next thing to do after marking your 0.5 is to connect to knotting at your hip line. Now after doing that, you're going to be making use of your measurements, your waist measurement divided by 4 plus 1 inch, which is 8 inches on your at your center back line on your waistline. So here I'm going to be taking from this 0.5 that I marked in, I'm going to be taking my 8 inches measurement as my waist measurement. Then after doing this, I am going to be connecting it to my hip line measurement. Please, while connecting, make sure that you are not overlapping. Now the next thing we want to do is to make our darts, and that is where we need our bust pan. You divide, to create your dart, you divide your bust pan by 2. Our bust pan measurement is 6 inches. If we divide by 2, we are going to be getting 3 inches. Then on our center back, we are going to be marking 3 inches at the waistline, and also on the hip line we are going to be marking 3 inches. Then we connect with our ruler. Now after doing this, on the hip line we are going to be going up by 2 inches on where you mark your bust pan measurement at the hip line. We go up by 2 inches, and also at both sides on the waistline we divide into 2. Our dart measurement is 1 inch. We divide it into 2, and then we mark on both sides. We mark 0.5 on both sides and connect back to the 2 inch above our hip line to create our back darts. Now to create our front dart, we are going to repeat the same process we did on the back to create our front dart. First thing, our bust pan divided into 2, which is 3 inches. We mark the 3 inches on the waistline at the center front, and then we also mark 3 inches at the hip line on the center, from the center front, and then we connect together. On the hip line we also will be going up by 2 inches, and on the waistline we are going to be dividing both sides and marking at 0.5 on both sides. Then we connect from our waist to 2 inches above the hip to create our front dart as well. Now after doing that, on our center front, now we are going to mark this our side back. Now on our center front at the waistline, we are going to be coming down by 0.5 inch, and on this 0.5 inch we are going to be connecting to knotting at the center back. Now our pattern is ready. Please, before we cut, after cutting it out, while placing it on our fabric, let's remember to add our sewing allowance. We are going to add allowance on the side back, on the center back, on the side front, and also no, we don't need an allowance on the center front. Now for the center back, we are going to be adding our zipper allowance. That is why we need allowance here. Then we'll be cutting our center front on fold. Our side back and our side front, we need allowance to sew them together. Then on the knee length, we are going to also be adding hem allowance, and on the waistline we are going to be adding 0.5 inch allowance. So that will be all on this. If you need us to do a sewing tutorial for our basic skirts, please do let us know at the comment section. Thank you for watching.